And think about, as a practice owner, when it's your job to diagnose the perio, technically, that is your role. And this level of, for lack of a better term, supervised neglect or iatrogenic perio disease has been lurking through your practice. And now you've got a new hygienist and you've got to back him or her up and say, yes, this is the level of disease I'm seeing. So that's a scary thing.
Hello, friends. I'm David Rice. I'm your chief editor here at Dentistry IQ. We're back for another episode of Gloves Off, and I'm with my partner in crime today, Katrina Sanders. How are you?
Hey, I'm so good. How are you today?
I am doing well. Thank you so much. We have, this is like a true Gloves Off topic, and I'm sure those of you who are watching, it's never been your practice, but you've heard stories from other people and other team members about doctors who don't believe in perio. Help us, Katrina.
Help me, doctor. No, yeah. So let's deep dive into that a bit.
Yeah.
Let's go into that periodontal pocket together, shall we? So here's the first layer that I will say. We are an evidence-based profession, period. And by that, I mean the evidence constantly evolves and constantly changes. So I've been practicing for 15 years. I know what you're thinking. Did you go to hygiene school when you were 4? Because you look amazing. Thank you. I know. But I've been practicing for 15 years. How I was trained on, for example, scaling and root planing procedures is different than the current paradigm. It is our responsibility as clinicians to continue to expose ourselves to the highest level of education and the new guidelines, standards, and changes. We see this come down. The American Heart Association had changes in blood pressure guidelines. The AAP has now reclassified how we stage and grade periodontal disease. I mean, we've seen these evolutionary pieces. And now, I mean, gosh, during this global health crisis, we absolutely acknowledge that we had to up our game when it came to infection control. So we're an evidence-based profession. So I'll begin by saying, if you're a hygienist, a team member, and you're working with a doctor or series of doctors or associates that do not believe in perio, my first thought is to have a dialogue with the doctor, not from a, I know better than you, even though a lot of times hygienists do know better about perio than doctors do. You know, I know better than you, and be mindful of how you approach the doctor. Don't approach the doctor after they just sat there trying to fight with a root canal and, you know, trying to find that fourth accessory canal and all that jazz. Find a time to say, hey, doc, I'd love to sit down and speak to you about the current state of our hygiene department, and how we can look at improving the health, wellness, and vitality of our patients together. And take the doctor out to lunch or go out to dinner at the end of the day, you know, get away from the practice and share with the doctor, in my training and based on what we understand about the academy, this is what we know about perio. And give the doctor the opportunity to ask questions. The reason why I say that is because a lot of times when I communicate with doctors, they acknowledge that dental hygienists are the ones who are trained in perio, and they're actually kind of cool with hygienists being the ones that are trained in perio. They want to trust you, hygienist. They want to say, great, you want to build out this perio program? Take it, make it your baby, you know, build out what this strategy looks like. Tell me what pieces of equipment you need in order to be able to serve or support your patients. They want to be able to hand that off. And yet the burden in most states across the United States, when it comes to diagnosing perio, falls on the doctor. So hygienists, think about, for a doctor who doesn't feel comfortable, as comfortable in perio as they certainly do in cutting holes into teeth and making beautiful restorations and all the amazing things that our doctors do, they're more comfortable in those modalities because they work in that every hour on the hour all day. So think about, what is it that you can do so that as a partner, you're coming in and serving and supporting your doctor? The other layer to this, though, that I will say is that I do think that there is a robust fear for doctors. I've worked in practices where I've come in as the new hygienist to the practice, and the previous hygienist was not probing patients. The previous hygienist was not taking FMX. So some of these patients didn't have any x-rays in. And so here I come in guns blazing with my perio protocols and wanting to probe patients and telling these patients that I can't do a prophy on you when you have generalized 8 and 9 millimeter pockets and you're bleeding everywhere. And think about, as a practice owner, when it's your job to diagnose the perio, technically, that is your role. And this level of, for lack of a better term, supervised neglect or iatrogenic perio disease has been lurking through your practice. And now you've got a new hygienist and you've got to back him or her up and say, yes, this is the level of disease I'm seeing. So that's a scary thing for a doctor, I would say, because then the question's always there. So what happened 6 months ago when I came in for my free cleaning my insurance covers? And so the dentist does get put in a relatively uncomfortable situation. But again, I do think that it's critical for dentists to understand that hygienists, we are here. We are the other licensed professional in your building. We are here to support you. And we acknowledge that there absolutely are going to be patient questions. But our responsibility is not to ensure that patients like us. Our responsibility, first and foremost, is to serve the community and treat them based on their healthcare needs. And so this is where I think we have the opportunity to change that dynamic.
I think so too. And I think you hit it really square on the head when you shared that it's the look back at what we've been doing for the last 6 months or 6 years or 15 years, or dare I say 28 years, how we've treated patients in the past that makes us afraid to change what we're doing. And we all know it in here, and we all know it up here too. So I love what you said, and I think it's really important to really key on that. Hygienists, if you're watching, dentists, you just need to be receptive. But hygienists, when you're watching here, frame the story. Understand what motivates me as a dentist and how I want to take the best care of our patients too. And if you can help me get over that fear, so we're not going to run in the room and say, this is what we've been doing wrong, we're about to do it right. More so, hey, here's what I'm seeing today. You know, I'm reading the notes from yesterday's hygiene team, and I'm comparing what I'm seeing today to then, and hey, some things have changed. And that's a kind of a nice way that gets us off the hook, but also pushes us in the right direction. And then, you know, intelligent patients are going to ask intelligent questions. There's no way around that. That's okay. We deal with them. But I think most patients who like us and they know us and they trust the practice, they'll move, 80% will move past this was yesterday, and they'll start looking through the windshield instead of the rearview mirror.
Absolutely. So I'm going to just flip this around because I want to get your opinion on this.
Sure.
Do you think that there are dentists out there that, fear-based aside, this is a change, we're, now providing a different level of care for the patients. Aside from that, which I do think is probably the bulk of the reason why we as hygienists think our doctor doesn't believe in perio. I really do. If you really whittle it down, I think that is a bulk. But do you think that there are doctors out there that do not believe in perio, that don't think it's a thing? The doctors that, there's some practices that don't have hygienists intentionally because, so do you think there is a group of dentists out there that truly do believe that? And if so, is there anything that I as a hygienist can do to change that thought process?
Never say never.
That's
However, I think probably the bulk of dentists in dental practice who aren't doing the very best for their patients, I think fear is a biggie, and money and time, which I think are really connected with one, are the others. So a practice maybe that participates with lots of PPOs, and let's be honest, maybe procedure X costs $100 and they're getting reimbursed $50. So now they're saying, my gosh, I know it takes an hour to do a great job, but I can't give an hour. And you and I know 30 minutes isn't going to treat the average adult well, no matter how good your systems are. But, I think money, time, and fear are the big trifecta. And if I'm you, knowing what I know, approaching me, I'm coming to the dentist with their motivation. So if it's money, we figure out how, hey, treating people the right way, or at least proposing the best treatment to them, not only helps the patient, but grows money for our practice or time. When we schedule this appropriately, we can drive the dollars and everything works out. And I think if you speak, sort of my language as you frame the story, then that gives us together as a team a tremendous opportunity to help our patients.
I love that. Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, I think that's important. This is a big topic. So no, I don't think there are many, hopefully no dentists. If you're out there and you don't believe in periodontal disease, please come after me and challenge all the things, because we need to talk. But Katrina, this has
we'll
been
really
great.
take our gloves off now.
Gloves are off. I'm like 6'3", so I think I'll hold my own. But no, I think this is an important topic, Katrina. Thanks for coming and sharing, bringing it to light. And I think, money, fear, time, those are things that are obstacles, but they're also opportunities for us to get better tomorrow. So gang, thanks for listening in. Thanks for tuning in. Katrina, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thank you.